Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Yellow Chair devotional. We have been journeying together through all the books of the Bible. There's 66 books, and today we're on book number 6. So we looked at what we called the Pentateuch, Penta being 5. So the first 5 books of the Bible on my green cards here, we looked at Genesis and Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, and that closes out the Pentateuch. Our next category of books in the Bible are called the historical books or books of history. So the children of Israel, we've learned all about them as a people in the Pentateuch. Now we're going to look at what happens next in their history. So I changed to the color purple. You could pick whatever color you wanted, but we are on to the book of Joshua, the book of Joshua. So grab your Bible. And we've got to find the book of Joshua. So get through our first 5 books. Get through Genesis and Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. And then we'll find the book of Joshua. So when I say a Bible character like Joshua, what story comes to mind? Maybe one where they march around the walls of a town so many times. Maybe a place named Jericho. Right? Joshua and the walls of Jericho, and they come tumbling down. What is the book of Joshua all about, right? Because with every single book in the Bible, we're looking for that one verse or that one section that helps us think about how could we sum up the entire book of Joshua. And so when we think about what we learned yesterday in the book of Deuteronomy, we know that the children of Israel haven't entered the promised land yet. God delivered them from slavery in Egypt. He has provided for them day after day after day because he loves them so much. But what did they do? They started listening to the lies of the enemy, lies that said stuff like, the giants in that land are too tall. They'll destroy you. You should just go back to Egypt. You were better off when you didn't have Moses leading you. Lies that made the children of Israel think, I can do it better myself. I know the way that we should go. I know what we should do. Funny how when the enemy is trying to get us to believe his lies, it's often asking us to rely on ourselves rather than in the love and the plan that God has for us. And so we saw yesterday that the children of Israel are not able to enter the promised land for 40 years until all of those people who were busy listening to the lies of the enemy, they passed away, they died, and now their kids have grown up, and Joshua and Caleb, the 2 spies who said, yeah, we can do it, God is so awesome, God is so good. They were listening to what God was saying, not the enemy. And now they're going to lead the children of Israel into the promised land once and for all. So that's where we're at. And we're going to read Joshua chapter 1 together. Joshua, big number 1. We're going to read this together because this is Joshua taking over for Moses because Moses has died. And Joshua is trying to figure out, how do I lead all these people? We're going to go into the promised land. I know God's going to take care of us, but what do we do? So let's read Joshua chapter 1 together. Okay, so here's what it says. Moses was the servant of the Lord, and Joshua, son of Nun, was Moses' assistant. After Moses died, the Lord said to Joshua, my servant Moses is dead. Now you and all these people go across the Jordan River. Go into the land that I am giving to the people of Israel. I promised Moses I would give you this land, so I will give you every place you go in the land. All the land from the desert in the south to Lebanon in the north will be yours. All of the land from the great river, the Euphrates in the east to the Mediterranean Sea in the west will be yours. This includes the land of the Hittites. Just as I was with Moses, so I will be with you. No one will be able to stop you all your life. I will not leave you alone. I will never leave you alone. Do you think that that promise reigns true for us today? Do you ever think of God saying to you, I'm going to be with you no matter what. No one's going to be able to stop you. I will never leave you. I'll never leave you alone. Maybe sometimes inside when we're listening to the lies of the enemy, we will, I wish God would leave me alone for a little bit. I'm tired of this God stuff. I'm tired of this Bible stuff. I'm tired of this church stuff. I feel like I just gotta be good all the time. I don't want God watching me all the time. Do you ever wonder that? You ever think that? How beautiful that God says, I'm never gonna leave you alone no matter what's going on in your life. I am there. And look what God tells Joshua next, verse 6. Joshua, be strong and courageous. You must lead these people so that they can take their land. This is the land I promised their fathers I would give them. Be strong and courageous. Be sure to obey all the teachings my servant Moses gave you. If you follow them exactly, you will be successful in everything you do. Always remember what is written in the book of the teaching. Study it day and night. Then you'll be sure to obey everything that's written there. And if you do this, you will be wise and successful in everything. Remember that I commanded you to be strong and courageous. Do not be terrified. Don't be discouraged. The Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Wow. Can you imagine God saying that to you today? Did you know that he just did through his holy word, the Bible? God's telling you those same things today. Be strong and courageous. Don't be afraid. Don't be discouraged. The Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Now let's see what Joshua turns and tells the people. Verse 10. So Joshua gave orders to the officers of the people. He said, go through the camp and tell the people, get your supplies ready. 3 days from now, you will cross the Jordan River. You will go and take the land the Lord your God is giving you. Then Joshua spoke to the people of Reuben, Gad, and the eastern half tribe of Manasseh. Joshua said, remember what Moses, the servant of the Lord, told you. He said the Lord your God would give you rest. And he said that the Lord would give you this land. Now the Lord has given you this land east of the Jordan River. Your wives, your children, your animals may stay here, but your fighting men must dress for war and cross the Jordan River ahead of your brothers. You must help your brothers. The Lord has given you a place to rest. He will do the same for your brothers, but you must help them until they take the land. This is the land the Lord their God is giving them. Then you may return to your own land east of the Jordan River. That is the land that Moses, the servant of the Lord, gave you. Then the people answered Joshua, anything you command us to do, we will do it. Any place you send us, we will go. Just as we fully obeyed Moses, we will obey you. We ask only that the Lord your God be with you just as he was with Moses. Then if anyone refuses to obey your commands or turns against you, he will be put to death. Just be strong and courageous. So what's so amazing here is it starts with God telling Joshua to be strong and courageous, and it ends with the people saying the exact same thing, be strong and courageous. It's like that phrase became a rallying cry. It became their aim, their motto. That was what they were going to do because they were listening to what God was telling them, saying, I am with you wherever you will go. And we see a little bit in here where Joshua is explaining where the different tribes, the different families are going to end up living, and you're going to live here and help us with this, and then you'll have this land here. That was what this other part was explaining where different people were going to live after they had taken this land that God had prepared for them. And so here's how this sums up the book of Joshua for us, because the rest of the book of Joshua shows them taking the land. It shows them getting land from the promised land. Sure, Jericho is the most famous city, but there were other nations, other kingdoms, other cities that they had to go to war against, and we see God deliver them time and time again. And then it talks about where the different families end up living. You know, this tribe got to live over in this area, and this tribe in this area, but it's all because They were following Joshua as their leader, and Joshua was following God. He refused to listen to the lies of the enemy. He remembered what God had told him at the very beginning. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Don't be discouraged. The Lord your God will be with you everywhere you go. So what does this mean for us? Sometimes we think, I need to be strong. I need to be brave and courageous, and then God will be with me. Or maybe we think it says, don't be afraid. Oh, but I do get afraid, and I do get discouraged and frustrated sometimes. Does that mean that God isn't with me? No, it says, be strong and courageous because the Lord your God is with you wherever you will go. So think about this. In those times when I don't feel strong, in those times when I don't have a lot of courage, I don't feel very brave. Maybe going back to school for some of us has been a little nerve-wracking. We've had some adjustments. Maybe we're starting different music lessons or different sports or different hobbies. There can be times where we can be nervous, we can be frustrated or discouraged. Things sometimes happen at home or in our families that make us feel sad, that make us feel afraid. We know, though, it says it right here, that God is with you everywhere you go, no matter what. Like it said in verse 5, I will not leave you. I will never leave you alone. And because that, if we believe that, if we say, yes, that is true, God is with me right here, right now, because of that, I can be strong no matter what comes at me. I can be brave and courageous because God's going to be brave through me. I can be courageous instead of discouraged, right? That's the opposite. I don't have to be afraid because God is with me, taking care of me. Sounds nice, right? Sometimes it's harder than that because we feel these things so strongly. We get to school or we get to a lesson or we get to a Sabbath school lesson or something, and we feel all these things and we go, oh man, God says he's with me, but this is really hard. That's the moment where, like Joshua, we remember what God has said. We don't let the lies of the enemy says, yep, God isn't with you right now. Yep, you're feeling afraid. God's not with you. You're feeling discouraged. You're not being very smart. You're not being very strong. We go, no. It's because God is with me that I am strong. I am courageous. I am not afraid. I am not discouraged, no matter what. And then from that place, then we can act boldly because we have God in our hearts and we can talk to God and say, God, I'm feeling really weak right now. I'm feeling really nervous about this. I'm feeling really frustrated about this, and God's going to take care of you. And what's amazing here is when we build each other up, just like Joshua then went to the people, they turned around and said to Joshua, yes, be strong and courageous. And so it starts with us remembering God's promises, and then it extends to us building each other up in community, in our friendships, in our families, going, hey, you got this, we got this. We can be strong and courageous. All right, let's say a prayer together and we'll wrap up. Dear God, we are so thankful that you never leave us alone. Doesn't matter how we feel at times or what we think, we can believe and know that you are here with us, and we're so thankful for that. May we remember that in those times when we aren't feeling strong or courageous. May we build each other up and encourage each other and be a voice of love and light and of your strength. And we thank you for this in your name. Amen. All right, in the video description below, there's a couple reflection questions. If you want to think a little bit more about how does Joshua and what we've just talked about fit into the whole story of the Bible. And so you can look at those questions on your own. And then here we go, our first book of the history books in the Bible, the historical books, Joshua. And of course, our verse for Joshua has to be Joshua 1:9. Haven't I commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. What an amazing promise for us to receive, believe, and take to heart day after day after day, and then share with others to encourage and strengthen them. I will see you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day.